Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Larry Farver, and let's queer up politics. Democrats reintroduced the Equality Act as Trump escalates war on the LGBT community. Congressional Democrats are reviving the Equality Act, a sweeping civil rights bill that would enshrine federal protections for queer Americans. Senator Jeff Merkley of Oregon and Representative Mark Takano of California are leading the charge, backed by Democratic leaders like Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Katherine Clark, Cory Booker, and Sarah McBride, the first out transgender member of Congress. Unveiled yesterday at the Capitol, this bill would amend the Civil Rights Act to ban discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity in workplaces, schools, housing, and more. But with Trump back in the White House and Republicans in control of Congress, the path ahead is steep. Schumer pointed out that in 29 states, LGBTQ Americans can still be legally denied essential housing or health care. While its passage is uncertain, the reintroduction of the Equality Act signals one thing clearly. LGBTQ plus leaders and allies aren't backing down. Well, this is promising news. You know, I try to limit what I watch, especially when our Trump is involved on the news and his little shows that he's doing lately promoting himself and how wonderful he is. So I think that this is really refreshing that we have this here, starting from the Civil Rights Act of 1964, but a continuation of that and recharging our batteries and hopefully having some traction.
Mm-hmm. I hope it passes. I'm skeptical that it will. I feel like probably the best strategy is what Colorado did, was they were doing it state by state to enshrine gay marriage. So that way, if Obergefell gets overturned, that it doesn't automatically go back to being illegal, gay marriage. And so I really like how Colorado did it. I don't think Florida is going to be able to do something on the state level, but I think that probably the best action to take is on the state level in many of these states, and then getting the traction with it. I just don't know if we have the votes for it. And I don't know. Everybody feels like they know what is the best way to handle this whole Trump situation. And some people are saying that's how you do it. And the other camp is saying, no, that's exactly how you don't do it. And there's so much fighting in that way. So I just think as many ways that we can try to solve this problem, go for it. I totally support you, and, cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic. Well, big shout out going out to Mark Takano, to Jeffrey Merkley, to Cory Booker, to all the folks that are behind this, right? You show us, you give us inspiration, right? You tell us that you're not backing down, because there's a lot of times that we are feeling broken down, beaten down, by this whole Trump administration the last couple of months. And, we're not going to back down. Miss McBride, you are doing a killer job as well. It's sad that we need this. Right? It's sad that we need something called the Equality Act. All we're asking is for equal rights for every person. Can you imagine trying to get health care and being denied just because of your sexual orientation or because
out of your home, or renting your
apartment. Out of your home?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm looking personally into further legal protections as a married gay man that I thought I never even have to ponder that thought. What am I doing? But I'm looking into doing something just in the event that there is some kind of classification of, here's an A marriage for the cisgendered straight people. Oh, you're going to be in another class marriage. You don't have the same rights. And I shouldn't even be thinking that, because we went through the whole journey of equality, and here we are looking at possibly backstepping. So I have to be optimistic. I think I'm told that's one of my worst faults, that I'm always looking for the golden sunshine, and
that's a good outlook to have, but as a also married person, I understand those concerns.
Yeah.
I mentioned a few months ago, my two friends, Jorge and Hector, actually expedited their wedding because they didn't know if they would lose the right to be able to marry. Mm-hmm. So they had a beautiful wedding out on the beach. I wasn't invited. It's okay. But they expedited it because they were like, they've been together. These two guys right here, They have been part of the legacy couple, part of the parade, because they've been together 13 years, 14 something years, and just got recently married. And I'm like, you guys are like a true love story, like you're meant to be together. But the fact that the dark forces, which are against us, could possibly prevent them from getting married, they had to rush that experience for them, which I hate that was how they had to go about it.
And they're not the only ones. A
No,
lot of
there's
people
so
have had
many out
to do
there
that,
like that.
Bonnie, you know? Al, what do you think?
Dead on arrival.
DOA? No chance, you think?
It is less than no chance. It literally is dead on arrival. On the news yesterday, my first reaction is, what are they blustering for? Why are they doing this? There's not a chance in the world. And I, to the voices, please forgive me. My observations are not anti-LGBT. They're not anti our activism. It's just trying to provide a dose of reality of why are we doing that. There is a huge trend. We got our asses handed to us in November. It is now 6-7 months later, and we should have figured out our game plan going forward. We're now about 18 months away from the House elections in November of 2026. We should be well underway with our new game plan. We are shit out of luck still. We have no plan. We are just flailing in the wilderness in terms of what we're going to do. There's two people that are really just slapping us in our face, and I'm glad they are. Bernie Sanders and AOC are holding their meetings in town halls all over the country, and one of their principal messages is, "What are the damn Democrats doing? This is what they're doing. This is what they did yesterday." And I appreciate the sentiment, but for what? There's going to be no tangible value of it. We won't take the House back on this strategy. And therefore, yes, we want that. The gay community wants that. We want to protect our marriages and our rights, etc. But if we don't control the House, we can't control the purse. If we don't control the Senate, we can't control judiciary and the Supreme Court. And if we don't goddamn get out and vote, we can't win the White House. And that's where we're at. So illusionary moves of saying we're reintroducing the Equality Act, thank you, but it's dead on arrival. And we've got to create a plan for those three areas: the purse, the judiciary, and the White House. And in the last 6 months, we haven't done anything. Where's the leadership to walk us out of the wilderness? It hasn't arrived yet.
So you think Bernie Sanders addressing Coachella was a complete waste of time? With his gloves out there.
And at the end of the day, exactly. And one of the things that I think is really important is we so often in our community talk in an echo chamber. We all feel the same way generally. I taunt the log cabin Republicans. They've gone silent. The reason they've gone silent is they've told me for 2 years, Trump is the greatest LGBT president ever in history, until in the first 100 days, he destroyed every one of their rights. They went silent because they're shell-shocked. We're sitting in this echo chamber of going, wait, we've got to have tangible actions. We just can't say we want the sky to be blue. We have to do things in climate to make sure that the sky continues to stay blue. And if we're not going to take tangible action, we're getting and we're watching what we voted for. All of us at this table said, vote, vote, vote 1,000 times. Today, our first 100 days, as we finish this, we got what we voted for.
God. That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.